In an age of rapidly advancing military technology, hypersonic missiles have emerged as a game changer. So as global tensions rise from the war in Ukraine to West Asia, these weapons are proving to be indispensable in making traditional air defense systems pretty much obsolete with their sheer velocity, maneuverability and also unpredictability. Take a look at this report.
Think of hypersonic missiles as the stealth bombers of our generation. Except they're faster, more agile, and virtually impossible to stop with current technology. The ongoing wars in Ukraine and West Asia have transformed hypersonic weapons from a theoretical concern to a battlefield reality. Yemen's Houthi rebels launched a missile attack targeting central Israel. The Iran-backed group claims firing Palestine II missile, which breached Israel's Iron Dome, long considered the gold standard in missile defense. It is claimed that the missile flew at the speed of Mach 9, sending shockwaves through defense establishments worldwide.
The missile force, with the help of Allah Almighty, targeted a military target of the Israeli enemy in the occupied area of Jaffa using a hypersonic ballistic missile of the Palestine II type. The operation successfully achieved its objectives by the grace of Allah.
Russia's Oreshnik missile, screaming through the atmosphere at a speed of more than Mach 10, represents something unprecedented in military history. For the first time in warfare, such hypersonic weapons are being used regularly. The Russian president, boasting of its capabilities, challenged the West for a missile duel.
There is no chance to shoot down these missiles. Well, if those Western experts you mentioned think so, we propose them and those in the West and the United States who pay them for their analysis to conduct some kind of a technological experiment, a high-tech duel for the 21st century.
The war in Ukraine, missile strikes in West Asia, and rising tension in East Asia all point to one conclusion. Hypersonic missiles are rendering modern air defense systems almost irrelevant. In October, China tested 4th generation Dongfeng 41, its deadliest intercontinental ballistic missile. China is rapidly testing and deploying similar systems. The Americans have Trident II in their arsenal, which was first deployed in 1990. The ICBM can carry a payload of up to 2,800 kgs. Even North Korea claims to have joined the hypersonic arms race. Their Hwasong 15 has all of the continental US in its range. Apart from Oreshnik, Kinzhal and Zircon, Russia's long-range operational missile is Sarmat, which is capable of hitting targets from up to 18,000 kilometers away. India is developing BrahMos 2 in collaboration with Russia. The missile can reach speeds of Mach 8 and has a range of 600 kilometers. The key advantage of hypersonic weapons lies in their boost glide capability. They can re-enter the atmosphere quickly while maintaining guided flight. Missiles like Oreshnik and ICBMs are armed with multiple warheads, which make them even deadlier. Hypersonic missiles use aerodynamic lift to perform evasive maneuvers within the atmosphere. Striking targets with surgical precision, this leaves defense systems with mere seconds to respond, an almost impossible task. The implications are stark. Missile defense systems must be radically reimagined, and nations must prioritize investing in counter-hypersonic technologies. Hypersonics are not just the weapon of tomorrow. They are rapidly shaping the battlefield today. Ignoring them is not just strategic negligence, It's a direct invitation to vulnerability. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
All right, now to give us more perspective on this, we're joined by Professor Peter Kuznick, who's a professor of history and the director of Nuclear Studies Institute at the American University. He's joining us live on this broadcast. Now, Professor Kuznick, for the uninitiated, could you tell our viewers as to why hypersonic missiles are said to be almost unstoppable at this moment?
There are a couple major factors that come into play with hypersonic missiles. Number one is the speed. They can go, the Oreshnik missiles go at least 10 times the speed of sound, or Mach 10. Number two is they're maneuverable. Unlike ballistic missiles, which follow a predictable trajectory and can therefore be easily targeted, especially in the upper range, the hypersonic missiles are maneuverable and therefore they're erratic and they can avoid the missile defense systems. And number three, they fly at a lower trajectory. So, which means that they arrive more quickly, right, and they're not at the higher range that is easier to target. So it makes them very, very difficult, if not impossible, like the Oreshnik Russian missile, to shoot down right now.
And also, do you think at this moment, there's so much talk about these hypersonic missiles, do you think it's something that can be countered by redesigning the defense missile systems, or is there too much hype over the hypersonic missiles at this moment?
From everything I've read, there is no missile defense system that is effective against them. So they can sometimes shoot them down. The ones that the Houthis are alleged to have used maybe go 8 times the speed of sound, but the ones the Russians have can go more than 10 times the speed of sound. So you have very, very little time, and they also have multiple warheads, many of them, which means that you don't know which. There can be a lot of decoys, and there can be multiple missiles launched out of these, or bombs or rockets, and so it's very, very difficult. This really has, as your report indicated, changed the nature of warfare. The Russians used their Oreshnik missiles in response to the Ukrainians using the U.S. ATACMS missiles and the British Storm Shadow missiles, and they had warned that the U.S. and Britain were crossing a red line, and they used this Oreshnik as a warning, as a signal to what their capabilities are, because there is no way the Ukrainians, with the U.S. or British support, can shoot them down.
All right, we'll have to leave that.
They can carry nuclear warheads. Fortunately, nobody's tried to do that so far.
That's correct indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Professor Kuznick, for joining us with that perspective there.
My pleasure.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.